Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel today. On YouTube, for the first time, we're going to delve into the dreaded pack shot. And not only that, but we are on a job where we have very minimal crew and very minimal gear. And we're going to try and do a pack shot. Those combinations, not great. Guess what else we have? No time. Guess what else we're going to do? We're going to try the pack shot outside. Okay, if you are not aware of how rare this is for a pack shot, and it's not going to be VFX, we're going to actually use the in-camera stuff that we get. This doesn't happen anymore. Right? This was like a unicorn, a one-time thing, and we're going to have to come up with some sort of a solution. So we're going to talk about the pros, the cons, what to look out for during a pack shot, and what we did to mitigate not having any gear and having less crew and having, well, a little bit of time on our hands. Okay, so let's jump into it and look at the storyboard. Now, what happens, we have seen a couple of different scenarios from this job. Remember, we are very far away from crew and equipment. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we have to get this commercial done. We've got lots to do. I think we were there for 4 days, 3 of which were shooting, and we have a pack shot to do. Now, when I see this in the boards, the very first question to the production is, what are we doing with this shot? Because this will be in the boards right from the beginning. This will be in the boards that the agency might pass on, right? It's just a given. Like, we're doing a pack shot. Okay. Well, are we doing it on the trip? Because pack shot normally, what ends up happening is this is the shot. If you're the client and the agency, this is the shot that everybody cares about. They want the bottles to look nice. They want everything to be straight. They want it to be all perfect. And that sounds super easy to do, except it's not. And it takes forever. Okay, you have never seen attention to a monitor like when you were doing a pack shot with a client. They've waited years to see this thing on camera. They want to make sure it looks really, really nice, which is understandable. Guess whose job it is to make it look nice? It's yours. Now, all of the little details in here, the bottle, like what color the thing we're going to use, how it blends into the background, the size of the thing, these things will be mulled over extensively. So what that generally means, schedule-wise, is this is a large chunk of the schedule. If you can get away with it, you schedule it on another day with another crew and other people. That's how much sort of flaffing that will go on. And it's necessary, right? If you're the client or if you're the agency, you want this thing to look nice, understandable. But it is much more delay prone than any other shot in the schedule. So something to just keep in the back of your mind if you are not familiar with how long the pack shot will take and how many changes and variations and slight things will have to go on. If you're a director or if you are a cinematographer, just be prepared that this shot itself is going to be heavily scrutinized, and that means it's going to take a long time. So if something's going to take a long time and we want maximum control, that should bring up some red flags of do's and don'ts when it comes to a pack shot. Don't have it outside. Okay, why? Because you're dependent on the weather. You are dependent on it staying the same in the background with all of the levels that you're going to balance, the ratios, everything we try and control down to the micro foot candle that is hitting these bottles. That's not ideal if you're doing it outside. We want to do it in a studio. Okay, we want all the elements within our control, because once we get an okay on something like, oh, this bottle is good. Okay, nobody touch it. Let's move on to the next thing, because we're going to do that across every single element. We're going to do it across the background. We're going to do it across the little beads of water, the little droplets that's on the bottles. We're going to do it on the labels. We're going to do it on the horizon line. We're going to do all those things. Now, luckily for us, we had an awesome director and we had an awesome client and agency who were just like the perfect clients that you could get in this scenario, because they knew, well, we're dealing with limitations. Right? We don't have an entire studio. We don't have a giant crew, and we don't have any equipment. We have no lighting equipment for outside, 0. And we're going to do a pack shot outside. Now, with the modern tools of color correction, you can do a lot in terms of making the bottles look really nice, but we still have to get the base right. We got to get the base right. And so we're going to look at eventually what we did. But my question first up was, are we doing this pack shot on the trip? Because generally the answer would be no. The answer comes back, yes, we are doing it on the trip. Okay, where are we doing it? Inside or outside? We're going to do it in both. We're going to do it inside the bar that we're going to be looking at in a future video, and we're going to do it outside. Okay, where are we going to do it outside? We don't know. We have to find that on the day. Okay, so remember, we're landing and shooting. In fact, we landed and shot the same day, the scenes that we have previously looked at in other videos from this job. So what did we do? Well, we had to drive around and look for a spot and be like, oh, could we make this work for a pack shot if the weather's bad? Yes, no, because we didn't know if the weather was going to be good or not. Could we make this work for the pack shot if the weather is good, or if it's sunset, or if it's the middle of the day? We decided, or really, I thought, we can't make this thing look good at all. Like, we have no control over the bottles if we are doing this outside. Zero. What's our best chance of making it look good? Sunset, magic hour, or early morning, but for our scheduling purposes, it worked better. Sunset. Okay, that's one. We have now made a decision. And if we are thinking decision tree, it's like, this is the pack shot. It's going to be sunset or it's going to be midday. It's like, we didn't choose midday, so we canceled out all of the choices that would branch from there. So now it becomes, okay, do we want it facing west, or do we want it facing east? Which is going to be the good way? Does it work for bad weather? Yes, no. Like, these are the branches that we take. And then all along here, when we answer these questions, we're crossing them off until we get to, ta-da, sunset. We want the camera facing west because we're going to backlight the bottles, because backlighting the bottles is cool. Right? Backlighting the bottles is what you would do in a studio if you have a big, giant light. Now, you should also, boom, ears should be perked up. What, we're backlighting the bottles with the sun at sunset? Does that mean we're going to put the sun in the frame? No, I'm going to try and not do that. Why? Because I don't have anything here to really give it a lot of level, which means the sun in the background is going to be by far the hottest thing. And then we're going to be flat here. And although, yes, we can boost it up in the grade by creating a couple masks around this thing, it's just going to be really tricky. I'm going to go for sun out of the frame. So rather than facing exactly where the sun is setting, right, we got to pan the camera right or left. So now we know when we're filtering through our location options, right? The producer and the director, we're sitting at the map, Google Maps. We're like, okay, where's the best spot? Is there a spot that we can do this that gets, I don't know, we've got water options, we've got desert options, we could be in the middle of the street. What's the vibe? Okay, let's go. There's a cool place here that looks kind of nice and photography-wise, and it's a bunch of cliffs on the side of the road. Actually, I'll show you this first. It's a bunch of cliffs on the side of the road. Like, this is cool. You can only find this in the area that we were at. It's beautiful. It would be way cooler if there was sunshine, right? These clouds sort of hosing our sunset. This is west. This is east. We don't want to face that way, right? Because then we're getting front lit. These bottles are just here. I don't know if you can see them. If I zoom in there. So we got to be facing west, but also as we come to this location, it's like, this is the spot. We're going to go here no matter what. We're going to go here, whether it's overcast, we're going to go here. No matter what time of day it is, this is the best location. Now, my job is to find the best spot to place these bottles. Number one, it has to be flat, so we can put the thing on there. Like, that's half the battle. When you're doing this in the studio, is like getting the orientation of the bottles on the surface that they're on. Like, this is the level of minutia you have to go through. We're just like, oh, where's a spot where we can place the bottles? And it looks flat. It's like, that was the filter. And it's like, oh, this is one spot. This is one spot over here. That's one spot over there. The problem is the closer that you get to the edge of the water, like all these things over here, you start to lose the rocks in the background, which is why we were there in the first place. Like, we don't want it to just fall off to water. If we come back to the actual shots, we don't want, like this shot here, we don't want it all floppy water, right? Not floppy, but flat, I meant to say. We don't want nothing but flat. We want some of the, like, the interest in the actual shot should be there, okay? That's what we're going for. So that's why we don't place it right at the edge. That's why we place it a little bit back from the edge, right? So we could have chosen that one, could have chosen there, could have chosen there. Nope, let's make it here. Why? Depth. Why do we want the sun out of the frame? So it's not the hottest thing in the background. Now, would it have been better? This is a good example of looking at this thing now. I've shown two options. Number one, just remember, we're framing for 239, okay? So 239 is the final ad. We're also, to make the pack shot even harder, we're going to put it on this rail thing. I can't remember what the name of this dolly is, but this is not a Fisher, right? This is not we're not on some crazy heavy dolly that's going to be super repeatable and nice and easy. This is me pushing this thing with WD-40 on rails that you can buy from Home Depot or from Bunnings. Like, it doesn't get any bumpier, this track. Now we have to level the thing with no grips. We got to push this thing back and forth. Guess who's pushing this thing back and forth? Me. You know how good I am hitting the marks? Not good. I'm just going. You know who that puts the pressure on? Old mate over here, Mr. Focus Puller. And we're going to shoot wide open. Of course we are. No, we're not going to shoot wide open. And we didn't shoot wide open because you want the whole bottle in focus. We're shooting on the mini LF with tribes. Like, it's going to get, where are we shooting tribes? Can't remember what we were shooting now that I say that. We probably would have been though. Anyway, we're not shooting wide open because we need to nail this thing, and we're doing this move, and I'm terrible at hitting my marks. Okay, so that's what we are dealing with in terms of movement. We're going to have to, that's why these sizes are different, because they're taken at different points in the track. As we get closer, we need to leave room for the information. Right? If we think back to our brief, you see all this stuff here? We need to leave room for that. They want to make it slightly different. So we're framing for 239. So the idea was, if this is the final shot, the idea was it would be cool if we had the sun here coming this way, right? But as you could see from the behind the scenes photos, what ends up happening is we're here at this time and it gets completely flat because this is a big cloud back there. There's a big cloud and the sun is right here and we're getting nothing but flat overcast. Now, in the grade, this is just straight out of the camera. In the grade, could you do something about this? Absolutely. Like you could raise these up. You could throw a lot more like slash levels in here or something to add a little bit of contrast. You could brighten this up back here. You could do something with the sky. Like we've got the bones of it. Okay. And it's kind of a cool image. Like the cool image part was made by finding the right rock to put this thing on. But there's not a whole lot of, if we're thinking Rolodex of things that are going to make a difference to this image on the day, it's like all we have is the sound guy, okay, holding up a California sunbounce. And you can see there's no sun because the sun is over here. It's going this way. There's no sun because of this big giant cloud. So we get super, super flat here. So this sunbounce is not doing much. In an ideal world, what you would do, we come back to this shot, and I have these two because this one, the sun started to come out, right? But it's probably like here at this stage. This is just the break in the clouds. And man, you get that really cool reflection back there. Just really much, much nicer. Once you see backlit bottles versus not backlit bottles, right? You get flat or you get nice backlit. Go the nice backlit, right? Especially 239 when the bottle gets super big. It's like, this is cool. This little line here, that would have been way cooler if it was like, you know, blue here and then that line like that, right? And if you were shooting on the volume, that's exactly how you would make it. Like you'd make the highlight back here and then you'd really backlight the bottles, like heavy, heavy backlight. And then what I would do, which is why the sunbounce, see how the sunbounce is, let's go back. I put the sunbounce on the left-hand side, right? Which is this side, because the sun, if it comes out, is going to be on, if these are the bottles, it's going to be over here. So I want to wrap from that same side. I don't want to sun sandwich the thing from over here. But if I had my way, and if I was in a studio, would I do it that way? Like, let's come back here. No, if I was going to do it in the studio, I would backlit from pretty much directly behind, right? Like blast these things. And then I would wrap from this side. I would wrap from this side because this is where we're reading, and then we're going to look left to right. And so as you do that, I'd rather have like the gradient of light pass over from where your eyes are going to read versus if you wrap from this side. If it's dead on, you can wrap from either side, right? If the backlight is dead on. But I wouldn't go this way. It just, I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, no, I'm going to wrap this way because we're going to read right to left in this scenario. That's me. But really, this shot is made on the scheduling. I was like, hey, is there any way we can get out there at sunset? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, good. Well, we don't want the sun in the frame. And I definitely don't want, like we got lucky that there was no breaks in the clouds where it wouldn't be sun. It would just be a giant blob of really hot sky, which we would then have to expose for. This is lucky. We didn't get that. And if we would have gotten that, I would have like just panned the camera a little bit more right or angled the dolly track so we'd be going a little bit more at it. Things things you would want to change or things that I would want to change in this scenario is I don't really like the horizon competing with the bottles. It just doesn't, to me, it seems busy there. And it does help that this highlight is there, but it seems like that's not really where you want the horizon. And generally, you'd try and avoid anything above the pack shot item in the frame, like having this little outcrop of the rock there. It's like, I mean, it breaks things up, but it's competing. It's competing with this. So I would say in an ideal world, if we were on the volume, or if this was on, you know, pancakes or sushis here, and you could up and down this as you wanted, the height of this table, ideally you would want it up a little bit, right? Like, let's raise everything up a little bit so we get this horizon lower in the frame. And it just starts to balance out a little bit better. And then if we had some breaks in the sky, that would give us our salt and pepper. We don't have that. But I'm always looking for it. I'm always like, oh, we're not ready to shoot yet. Can we wait another 10 minutes? It's like this, we could see this storm coming in on the water. We have no rain cover, no rain gear, no nothing. Just like we could see water droplets start. It's like, oh my God, we got to get out of here before it completely dumps on us. And we had, 45 minutes to shoot this. We'd scheduled it last, though, in the schedule, because that meant we could ride it all the way out until, you know, maybe at the last second the sun would have peaked out down here. So we're basically just sitting around waiting to see if we can get one of those. And what normally happens in that scenario is you get a few, like we got a few runs with no sun. And you're like, okay, this is the spot. We feel good about it. Those are your safeties. And then you get one or two with the sun. And you're like, okay, those look way better. But is there anything, is it going to get better? We'll just sit here until maybe it does get better, maybe it doesn't get better. And in that scenario, it is the person taking the picture here, the person behind the camera. It's my job to go, well, this looks way better. Let's shoot it. Right? You can see no sandbags, no shot bags on the equipment. That's how you know you are running low on resources. Okay? You can imagine how wobbly this thing was. But that's sometimes what you have to do to get the pack shot. Is there anything that I didn't think of? No, I don't think so. And it's like ideal world, we would go up with the camera. Camera goes higher and this goes higher. So we lose a little bit of this. And we would bring the horizon down in the frame. And yeah, then I'd probably, like I said, probably look to get rid of that. If we come here, you can see it in 239. It's like, what is this? Looks like a flag, some sort of piece of equipment that we just left out. Now you would see that it wasn't quite as distracting because we are pushing in on the move, but still, yeah, you wouldn't. This color of the rocks back here and the colors of the bottles in the grade, of course, you're going to bring those way up, those levels, so it might not compete as badly because this sort of tone, because we're so shallow here, sort of competes with the tone of the bottle, which you would be looking for some sort of contrast. That's why I like this frame so much better than this frame, right? Where it just gets a little bit flat. But we got it. And that's how you do it. Come up with a schedule. Is it going to work? What's the best time? Midday, we have no control over. Like, we don't have enough room to fly, you know, an 8x8 over this rock at midday to soften the overhead. And then to get level back in there, the biggest rag we have is that sun bounce. So having a little 6x sun bounce in exterior daytime, midday, or anytime this thing is backlit, you know, from 12 o'clock till 4 o'clock, sun going that way, it's not going to be as good. So you say, okay, it's not going to be as good. Do we have the option? If the answer is yes, let's definitely do sunset. If the option is no, okay, well, we'll come up with a solution to make it halfway decent at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not going to be as good, but these are the trade-offs that you are offering up to production. You let the creative people decide what is going to be the best path forward, and then your job is to just get it done, okay? Do it with a smile, try and be constructive, cheerful, and that's it. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. If you like this kind of content, Patreon, the best way to support the channel, and you get these videos well in advance of what happens over on YouTube. It'll probably end up being, 6 months in advance you get these videos. All right, that's going to do it. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.